Hi everyone, welcome to lesson 2, and in this lesson we're going to cover multiplication, division and working backwards. Okay, let's go to the question. In the first question we're going to deal with multiplication, and let me read the question first. Mrs. Tan had some blueberries. She packed them equally into 9 boxes and found that she had 600 grams of blueberry left. Each box has 720 grams of blueberries. What was the mass of the blueberries Mrs. Tan had at first? Give your answers in kilograms and grams. Okay, after reading the question, let's underline some of the keywords. The keywords will include she packed them into boxes of 9, okay, the blueberries, and she has 600 grams left. We also know that each box has 720 grams of blueberries, and we need to find the mass of blueberries that Mrs. Tan have at first. So after reading the question, let's organize the information in the form of a model. So the first thing is we will use a model to represent all the blueberries that she has. She's able to pack them equally into 9 boxes, so we indicate here 9 boxes, and she has 600 grams left. So first we need to find the mass of blueberries in these 9 boxes. So 9 boxes. We know that each box is 720, therefore we will take 720 multiplied by 9. Let's do our working at the side. 720 multiplied by 9. 0 times 9 is 0, 2 times 9 is 18. We carry 1. 7 times 9 is 63, plus 1 is 64. So we know that the mass of these 9 boxes of blueberries will be 6,480 grams. Now, in order to find the mass of blueberries that Mrs. Tan have at first, right, we have to add the mass of the blueberries in the 9 boxes plus whatever she's left, which is 600 grams here. So we take 600, 480 plus 600. Let's do our working at the side. Zero plus 0 will give you 0. 8 plus 0 will have 8. 4 plus 6 we will get 10. So 0 carry 1. 1 plus 6 is 7. So our answer will be 7,080 grams. Okay, first we have to break this down into 7,000 grams and 80 grams. And we know that 1 kg is equals to 1,000 grams. Therefore, 7,000 grams will be 7 kilograms. So the final answer will be 7 kg and 80 grams. So that's how we organize the information and get the answer. So it's very important, after you read, you need to highlight the keywords. Then from there, step 2, okay, let me write down over here. Number 1, you have to highlight the keywords. Number 2, you have to organize the keywords. And number 3, you carry out the steps so that you can reach for the answers. Alright, so now let's move on to the second question. The second question is about division. Let me read the question to you. There was a total of 756 visitors at the zoo. There were 3 times as many children as adults. How many more children than adults were there? Right. As usual, after reading the question, we will highlight the keywords. We know that the total, there are 756 visitors. Next, we have 3 times. Okay, 3 times is the comparison between the children and the adults. And we need to find how many more children than adults. How many more is telling us to find the difference between the children and the adult. After reading the question, we will organize the information in the form of a model, okay, to help us understand the question better. So we know that the number of children is 3 times the adults. So we will draw 3 units for the children and 1 unit for the adult. So these are the children, these are the adult. As you can see, we have 4 units over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So 4 units is equals to 756. So in order to find 1 unit, we will take 756 divided by 4. Okay, let's do our working at the side. 756 divided by 4. Okay, 1 times 4 is 4, then 7 minus 4 will give us 3, then we bring down 5. 35. The closest multiple will be 8. 8 times 4 will give us 32. 35 minus 32 will give us 3. Then we bring down 6. So 36 is the 9 times 4, right? 9 times 4 will give us 36. So we got the answer 189. Okay, now that we find that 1 unit is equals to 189, okay, we need to find the difference between the adults and the children. We know that the adults is 1 unit. Let's write over here, adults is equals to 1 unit and the children is equals to 3 unit. Remember, we need to find the difference between the two. So the difference between the two of them, these two groups, will be 3 unit minus 1 unit, and we get 2 unit. So we need to calculate 189 multiplied by 2. Okay, let's do our working over here. 189 multiplied by 2. 9 times 2 will give us 18. Carry 1. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 plus 1 is 17. 7, carry 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 plus 1 will give us 3. So our final answer will be 378. So how did we use our routine to understand the question? Remember, first we highlight the keywords. Okay, so the total, the comparison between the adults and the children, and what are we looking for, the difference. Next, we organize the information in the form of a model. Right, in this model, we know that the adults is 1 unit and the children is 3 unit. In total, they add up to give you 756. Okay, after we draw the model, we will be able to see that there are 4 units that is equals to 756. Right, after that, we carry out the steps in order to help us get the answer. Right, so based on this, we're able to find 1 unit is equals to 189, and the difference between the adults and the children is 2 units. And after we take 189 times 2, we arrive at 378. Right, so this is division. Alright, let's move on to the next question. Okay, in the next question, we'll be working backwards as the heuristics to solve this question. Let me read the question to you. A container contains 350 ml more water than container B. After 500 ml of water was spilled out of container A, container B had twice as much water as container A. How much water was in container A at first? So after reading the question, it's time to highlight the keywords. We know that container A has 350 more than container B. 500 ml of water was spilled out of container A, and then container B now has twice as much as container A. we need to find how much water are there in container A at first. Right, after reading the question and highlighting the keywords, now let's organize all these keywords into a model that we can understand. Okay, first of all, we notice that we need to find what was in container A at first. So, and we have a lot of information here, so we were using working backwards to help us understand the question so that we'll be able to move backwards and able to find out how much water is in container A. The first step that we're going to carry out will be here. We're going to draw a model that represents B that is double of A. So we have 1 unit of A and 2 units of B in the end. The second step that we're going to carry forward, we're going to carry out will be this step. 500 ml of water was spilled out of container A. So when we work backwards, we will add back the 500 ml. And we're going to indicate plus 500 to add back the amount of water that was spilled out of container A. Lastly, we will carry out step 3. Step 3 says that now container A has 350 more water than container B. That indicates the difference between A and B. This is 350. So we have 1 unit for A over here and 2 units of B. Okay, so now our model is completed. So let's see how we can solve the question. Okay, our objective is to find the value of 1 unit. Right, as you can see over here, we have, if we're able to draw this dotted line to make it clearer, you can see that 500 ml is actually the sum of 1 unit and 350. So in order for us to find the value of 1 unit, we have to take 500 minus away 350. So let's write over here, 1 unit is equals to 500 minus 350. So let's work at the side. 500 minus 350. 0 minus 0 will give us 0. Okay, 0 cannot minus 5. Remember, we have to borrow from 5. Then we get 4. Then over here, we get 10. 10 minus 5, we will get 5. 4 minus 3, we get 1. So we know that the difference between these two numbers is 150 ml. Next, so now we're ready to find how much water are there in container A at first. So container A, we have 500 plus 1 unit, which we have calculated to be 150. So from here, we will add the two together, 500 plus 150, and our answer will be 650 ml. Our answer for this question. Okay, working backwards. Okay, let me summarize. After you go through the keywords, the organization, and the steps, what you need to do is, in working backwards, you need to identify the steps that you need to carry out in systematic, in the sequential order, okay, to help us understand and reach for the answers. Number 1, we have to find out which is the first step to carry out. Okay, the first step is always the last instruction or the last information before the question, right? In other words, over here, we have the question that says how much water was in container A at first. So the instruction before it will be this part that says container B has twice as much water as container A. So this keyword of twice is our first step, because it's the information just before the question, right? Then the second step will be the information before this, which is the line above it, which tells us that 500 ml of water was spilled out of container A. So we work backwards, we have to add back, and this is what we did over here. And step 3 is the first line that says that A has 350 more than B. So we indicate the difference over here. Then we carry out the steps and we're able to find the answer, right? So remember, we draw the model, and from the model we're able to see that 1 unit plus 350 will give us 500 ml. From here we find the value of 1 unit, which is 150. So after we find 150, we need to find the amount of water in container A at first. So that will give us 500 plus 150, 650 ml. Right, so that ends our lesson 2. I hope you understand, okay, and able to benefit from this lesson, okay, and do practice on these few questions, and I'll see you in the next class.